How you going, folks? We're going to film a real quick one. Just on the phone here, I don't have a camera or anything set up, but I've been given these crusty old bullets. They've been sitting around in a storage for over 20 years that I know of. Looks like mice have gotten into it. They've peed on a lot of them. A lot of them look, there's some hollow points here. These are all 9mm, but there's heaps of bullets. They're crusty as, and we're going to see if we can clean them up using vinegar. Now they're filthy as you can see, but the theory behind this is that the vinegar mixed with salt acts as a really good cleaner for live cartridges. So you obviously don't want to chuck them in a sonic cleaner. You probably can when you might get away with it. I'm not entirely sure, but I've got about 500 rounds here that are pretty ordinary. I've started sorting them out, trying to figure out what's what. But I've got an old Schweppes bottle here. I've got some dirt in it that I've filtered to be a nice fine sludge. So I'm going to use that as a bit of an aggregate to see if that makes it any better. Got a big helping of salt and a bit of vinegar. So I'll put a bit of vinegar in this now and we'll roll it for a couple of minutes and we'll see what they come out like. I'm going to put in a heap of these ones. They're going to be absolutely disgusting like that. The primers and all are all gone green. They do fire, but I don't really want to put them through my gun the way they are. So we'll see if we can clean these up to a reasonable standard. I'll find some of the grottier ones and put a big heap in there and see how we go. Well, that was a fairly arduous task, but I put a couple of hundred in there. I think I had a couple of spares plus those, so I think I put about 230 or so in there. And we're going to pour some vinegar in and we'll shake her around a bit, roll it and see how we go. And so there's no fancy measuring or anything. I put some salt, some dirt, filtered or sifted obviously, and put the vinegar up to about cover most of the bullets, and we'll stir all that around. Don't mind all the mess, guys. My place is a bit trash at the moment, but I'm gonna mix this all around for a while, and we'll come back in a couple of minutes and see what the result is. Well, it's not been as quiet as I thought it would be, but we've just been doing this for a little bit. I think they look like they're starting to improve. Keep going I'll give it another 2 minutes and then I'll get back to you. Well, I think the wife's going to be pretty impressed that I'm using a good tea towels and a good colander, but first impressions, that's pretty damn good. I mean, there's a few that they still have slightly green primers. Well, that one doesn't. Where's one? That one, all right, that one doesn't. I did spot a few that still had slightly green primers. I promise you there's a few. That one's still a little bit grot, but I'll pull them all out, give them a little quick wipe, and we'll see what they turn out like. My scientific conclusion is it was okay. These are some of the original grotty, like the real bad ones, and they come up all right. I did give them a little bit of a wipe with the rag. Well, that's a rag now, with the wife's dishcloth, but they come up okay. For the most part, all of the projectiles and everything, they come up brand new. They weren't too bad to start with. It was more the primers and the shell cases that I was more worried about. But the cases themselves, they come up pretty good as well. So they're fireable. I'll put them in my Glock happily. A Glock will just run a sausage with a primer in it. Doesn't care to run anything. So I'm not too fussed about chucking those in the Glock now. They're not going to do any damage because they're fairly clean. Well, they're clean enough to fire. And I don't think I'm going to have any issues with them. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that was a fairly easy process. I give that a thumbs up. But, there's a lot of people claiming that it brings them all back to brand new. And, if I put a bit more time and effort into that, maybe it would bring them back to brand new. But that's good enough for me. That whole process, cleaning all of these bullets, plus the original 8 grotty ones. So it was a little less than I thought. I thought I had over 200, but there's 160 there, something like that, 100, maybe 170. But 170 bullets, took me a half hour to clean them, and these guys are now usable. So I'm pretty happy with that. And the ammunition, actually, just out of interest, was some old Norinco that's been floating around for 20 plus years. So wasn't stored very well. That's some of the hollow point stuff, but it's all Norinco ammo. It's all been floating around for a long, long time. And yeah, I'm not really going to complain about it, to be honest with you. So that will do the trick at a pinch. If you need to get some bullets cleaned that have been given to you or you found that have just not been stored very well for a long time. A couple of dodgy ones in there that didn't get much off them. But yeah, I mean, come on, seriously. These days, look at nearly 500 bucks worth of ammo here, so it's well worth cleaning and using.